Hi, my name is Justine Byrne-Akeley, and I am the founder of Jump Smart Talent. We are an executive search startup, and we feature subscription-based, flat fee, and low fee searches for startups in Southern California, New York, Chicago, and Boulder. So I'm working from home today because I'm doing a lot of research today on resumes, and I decided to make a little video to sort of kick off our YouTube channel. And the video is going to talk about how recruiters read your resume. Because when I'm reading resumes, I often can read a resume in about 30 seconds. Not that I'm not giving attention to candidates, but rather sometimes I speak to almost 300 people to fill a role. So I need to be able to screen almost 1,000 resumes to determine who I'm going to speak to, and that can be very time consuming, you know? So you have to be able to look at a resume quickly and determine if that's a person that is going to be right for your role. Now, once you determine that a person isn't really right for the role, it's hard to get them back in the process. So the first time that you read a resume, you're looking for a reason to include them in the search, not a reason to exclude them. I think that's an important thing for candidates to remember, that at first, when we first read your resume, we're looking for a reason to call you. We want to solve our problem, which is to find talent for our client. So I'm going to show you how I read a resume in about 30 seconds. And I have my trusty, this is the old MacBook Pages format for resume, right? And the way I read a resume in about 30 seconds is in a clockwise pattern, really quickly. And I'll show you what I look for. I start here. Usually there's a name and address up here. And I look at the name and address and I say, is this person in a location where they can commute to the job? If you're not, it doesn't mean you're not necessarily in the running for the job. But what it means is that you have to be pretty damn good for my client to want to pay for a relocation for you, right? So I start determine, okay, they can commute to the job or not, and that changes kind of the criteria of goodness of the resume. I then start going clockwise, and I start looking at the dates that are usually down the left side. You can see the dates right here, right? What I'm looking there is longevity. So I'm looking for, how long do you generally stay in a position? Do you generally stay at a company for a year and move on? Well, that might be a risk for my client. Do you generally stay at a company for 3 years? This is where a lot of great candidates get a little bit mixed up, because they think that maybe they want to put that they were promoted every couple months. So they show 6-month stints at different levels within the same company. Now, recruiters might look at that and think, oh, that person changes jobs all the time. And because we have to read resumes so quickly, you want to make it very clear to a recruiter that you stay at a job for a long time. So I suggest putting a heading of the overall company. That means if the company had been acquired, or if the company changed names, or if you went up 3 levels in that company, so essentially you have 3 different jobs, you want all of that to be under one heading with one group of dates that shows the longest amount of time that you went through a job without a major transition like a layoff or leaving. Does that make sense? So I check the address, I start going, and I say, okay, this person generally tends to stay at jobs for a good amount of time. Then I get to the bottom where your skills are, and I start looking for keywords. I start looking for the skill set. So for example, if I have a client that generally works in SAP, I'll look for SAP. If you're looking to be a financial analyst, I'll look for Excel, VLOOKUPs, pivot tables. If you're looking to be a salesperson, I'm going to look to see if you've used Salesforce or other CRMs. If we're looking for an email marketing manager, I want to know whether you used MailChimp or SailThrough or different types of softwares and skills that my client might be looking for. So I start with the address. Okay, they're qualified in the area. They tend to stay at jobs for a long period of time. They have the requisite technical skills and knowledge that my client will be looking for. And then I start reading backwards up this side of the resume. What I'm doing there is I'm looking for progression. So I'm looking for, was this person an entry level, and then they went up to a senior, then they went up to manager, then they went up to director, and I try to read the story of your background by looking at job title this way. Once that all checks out, you're in the right location, you stay at jobs for a long period of time, you tend to have the technical skills, and it looks like people generally tend to promote you in jobs, and you have had progressive experience. Now I've decided that you might be the right person for the job, and I'll start reading inside. It's like exactly the same as when they say, when you go to the grocery store, the healthiest way is to go around the outside and then go into the inside aisles. Do you know what I mean? It's what I do with a resume. So if everything else checks out, then I'll start to read your bullet points. So having that information in sort of the right spots makes it a lot easier for a recruiter to read your resume and more likely for you to get called out of the pile. So that's a little bit of my 2 cents about how to write an effective resume. We'll have more little tutorials about, when your resume is going to be crawled by like a resume parsing system and how to kind of win at that game and all sorts of things on our Jump Smart channel. So keep a lookout for new content. And if you do need help writing a resume, we have a resume writing service. We're running a special right now in honor of equal pay. So our $99 resume service is really $74. So if you use the code equal pay. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope everybody gets the job of their dreams. Be good.